Lyra walked along the quiet road outside her small settlement, carrying a bag of old tools she had borrowed from a neighbor. The night sky above her glowed with soft silver stars, and she hummed a calm tune as she moved. She did not expect trouble. She did not expect anything strange. She was just a normal human girl walking home. Then the sky opened. A beam of pale blue light shot down from clouds. The air became heavy and warm. Before Lyra could even turn to run, the light wrapped around her like a cage. She felt her feet lift off the ground, and her breath caught in her throat. She reached out to grab something, anything, but there was nothing to hold. The world spun, and everything went dark. When she woke, the light was gone. The stars were gone. The earth was gone. Lyra found herself in a round chamber made of smooth, shining stone. She lay on a white platform that felt cold even through her clothes. Strange symbols floated in the air above her, turning slowly like glowing dust. She sat up, confused and frightened, but she forced herself to stay quiet. She had no idea where she was or who had brought her here. A soft voice spoke from behind her. "She is awake. Begin the evaluation." Lyra turned and saw 5 tall figures entering the chamber. Their skin was pale silver like moonlight, and their eyes glowed with a faint blue color. They wore long robes that brushed the floor, marked with thin golden lines. Their steps made no sound. They did not look angry or cruel, but they also did not look human. Their faces were calm and unreadable. Lyra swallowed hard. "Where am I?" The tallest alien stepped forward. His voice echoed, as if the chamber itself spoke with him. "You stand before the Astral Council. This is a citadel of echoes. You were brought here for examination." Lyra's heart pounded. Examination. It sounded gentle, but something about it felt wrong. "Why me?" she asked softly. "Humans carry unknown traits." The alien said, "We seek to understand them. We do not wish harm, but we require full cooperation." Another alien touched a floating crystal beside her. The symbols around Lyra moved faster, forming circles of soft blue light around her hands and head. She felt a strange warmth in her mind, like someone gently knocking on a door that she did not want to open. Lyra pulled back. "Stop, please," she whispered. "You will not be harmed." The alien said, "Remain still. Reveal your thoughts." But she could not. The pressure in her head grew stronger. It was not pain, but it was overwhelming. Her thoughts felt heavy, like someone was pushing them down. Her breathing became shallow. She tried to speak, tried to tell them she could not take more, but her voice came out broken. One of the aliens frowned softly. "Her mind resists." Increase the flow. A new crystal lit up. The air thickened. Lyra felt her vision blur. She tried to stand, but her legs gave out. She fell to her knees, one hand on the floor, the other clutching her chest. Her heartbeat sounded slow, and slower still. "I can't," she whispered. The aliens did not seem angry. They did not shout. They simply observed her like scientists watching a sample. Another spoke quietly. "Her resistance is higher than predicted." The tall leader nodded. "Continue." The pressure increased again. Lyra felt the world fading around her. She thought of her home, her parents, her friends. She tried to hold on to their faces, but they drifted away like smoke. Her heartbeat slipped again. Her knees trembled. She fell onto the cold platform. The glowing symbols dimmed for a moment. Her eyes closed without her meaning them to. Her breathing slowed to a whisper. One alien stepped forward, looking down at her still form. "Vital signs are falling. She will not survive further testing." The leader folded his hands. "Then she has reached her limit. Humans are fragile." A light blinked above Lyra's head. It flashed red, then faded. Silence filled the chamber. The aliens watched her calmly as the machines delivered their final reading. Her pulse had stopped. Her mind activity dropped to nothing. The air in the chamber grew still. "She has expired," one alien said. "Record the result." The leader nodded again. "Humans are not suitable subjects. Prepare her for return to her people. They may bury her as they wish." They turned away one by one, their robes trailing softly behind them. Their steps remained silent. The crystals dimmed around Lyra's still body. their glow slowly fading, leaving her in a soft shadow. No alarm sounded. No one rushed to save her. To the council, this was simply a failed test, nothing more, a closed experiment. But the citadel of echoes held its breath, because deep inside that quiet chamber, something faint stirred around Lyra's chest, something the council did not see, something they had never imagined. Not light, not movement, just a whisper of energy waiting to rise. The chamber remained silent, but the silence did not last. Something was coming. 43 minutes had only just begun. Lyra's body lay still on the white platform, the cold surface pressing against her cheek. The chamber lights had dimmed, and the glowing symbols had faded away. The astral council had already left, certain their test was over, certain the human girl was gone. For them, 43 minutes meant nothing. For Lyra, it meant everything. At first, nothing changed. Her chest did not move. Her fingers stayed still. The room was silent except for the soft hum of the machines resting in sleep mode. Then the air shifted. A tiny spark, too small to see, moved across her skin like a trail of warm dust. It glowed for less than a second before disappearing. A moment later, another spark formed. Then another. The faint lights gathered around her heart, swirling softly as if remembering a rhythm they had once known. Something deep inside her began to pull together. Not breath, not heartbeat, something older. The lights around her chest brightened, lifting slightly from her body like tiny stars rising from water. They twisted, slow and gentle, and sank back into her skin. Then her fingers twitched. The machines beside her beeped once, confused, as if unsure what they were detecting. One of the crystals flickered, showing a weak pulse that had not existed moments earlier. 10 minutes passed. Lyra's breathing returned, shallow, broken, but real. The cold air of the chamber slid into her lungs, and her chest rose just a little. Her lips parted, and she let out a soft sound, faint like a sigh. 20 minutes passed. Her heartbeat strengthened. Her skin warmed. The spark within her chest expanded outward, flowing into her arms and legs. Her toes curled slightly as she fought her way back to the world she had been pushed out of. 30 minutes passed. A dull ache filled her body. She gasped suddenly, like someone breaking the surface of a deep lake. Her eyes opened halfway. Her vision was blurry, the room spinning like fog. But she was alive. Confused, tired, but alive. She tried to sit up, but her arms felt heavy. She managed only a small shift before falling back. The machines around her flickered again, sending soft beeps through the chamber. Up in the ceiling, an alert light blinked on, silent but visible. The citadel noticed. At the far end of the chamber, a door slid open. A single alien entered. He was not one of the council, but a young attendant named Eris. He carried a small scanner and looked tired, as if he expected nothing strange. He walked toward the platform, glancing at the blinking alert. A malfunction again, he muttered. These systems are older than I am. But when he reached the platform, he froze. Lyra's chest rose. Eris stared, his eyes widening. The human girl they had declared dead breathed, slowly, weakly, but clearly. He brought the scanner to her neck. Life signs were present, weak but rising. He stepped back, shocked. Impossible, she expired. His hand shook slightly as he activated the emergency call beacon. A blue circle of light formed under his hand and sent a silent message through the citadel. Lyra blinked slowly. Her voice was faint, barely more than a whisper. "Where am I?" Eris looked startled. You're conscious?" She tried again, her throat dry. "Water, please." He hesitated, confused and frightened, but fetched a small container and touched it to her lips. She sipped weakly, grateful for the cool liquid. Her hands were shaking. Her head felt heavy. She remembered the pain, the pressure, the moment everything went dark. She remembered her heart slowing. She should not be alive. Footsteps echoed from the hallway. More aliens entered. 3 healers and 2 junior council members. They surrounded the platform, staring at Lyra like they were seeing a ghost. One of the healers scanned her chest. The reading flashed red, then green, then a color the device was not supposed to display at all. "This is not possible," the healer whispered. "A human heart cannot restart after 43 minutes. A junior council member stepped forward. "Check the machines. They are wrong." "They are not wrong," Eris said quietly, still in shock. She breathed. "I saw it," and she spoke. The aliens looked at each other, their calm expressions shaken. They had studied many species. They had tested many minds. But this they had never seen. 43 minutes without life. 43 minutes without breath. And yet the human girl rose again. Lyra looked at them with tired eyes. She felt weak, but something warm and powerful moved inside her chest, like a quiet fire burning gently. She had no idea why she survived. She only knew she had come back for a reason. "What happened to me?" she whispered. The healer shook his head slowly. "We do not know." More footsteps came from the hall, this time heavier, sharper, carrying authority. The tall leader of the Astral Council entered the chamber. His silver robe seemed brighter than before, and his expression was unreadable. He approached the platform, staring down at Lyra. "You were dead," he said in a quiet voice. "Yet you returned." Lyra swallowed. "I didn't want to die." The leader studied her for a long moment. Then he spoke to his council members. "Prepare her for full observation. Do not harm her. Do not pressure her mind again. We must understand what happened." Lyra stared at him. Fear stilled her eyes, but mixed with something new, strength. The leader continued. "A human who survives death, this changes everything. The council will want answers." Lyra felt her heart beat stronger at those words. The fire inside her moved again. 43 minutes had passed, and the real story was only beginning. Lyra lay on the observation bed, while the room hummed softly around her. Strange lights scanned her body again and again. The healers, the council assistants, and even the machines seemed confused by what they found. She felt tired, but she was no longer weak like before. Her body felt different. Warmer, lighter, almost awake in a new way. Eris watched from a distance, still shaken by the fact that she had come back from death. The other aliens whispered to each other, try and make sense of the impossible readings. Every scan showed the same strange results. Her cells were changing, adapting, and doing things human cells were never known to do. The Astral Council kept their distance at first. They stood behind a transparent barrier, observing her like she was something new, something they did not understand. Their leader finally stepped forward and ordered the healers to begin a deeper scan. They moved glowing instruments over Lyra's arms and chest. The machines responded instantly, flashing symbols that none of them had seen before. A soft glow rose from her skin, faint like the light of morning. Even Lyra could see it. She looked at her hands in confusion as the light shimmered above her skin for a second before fading away. "What's happening to me?" she asked quietly. The healer nearest to her answered, his voice calm but full of worry. "Your body is changing. It is healing at a rate we have never recorded in a human." Lyra frowned. "Healing? But I died." "That is what makes this unusual," the healer replied. "You did not only return from death. Your biology started a process we do not understand." Lyra did not understand it either. But she could feel something inside her, something like a heartbeat that was not physical, like a soft vibration running through her bones. Eris stepped closer, unsure if he was allowed to speak. She was exposed to the council's mental pressure for too long. Could something inside her have awakened because of it? The council members exchanged looks. One of them spoke. "Humans have no such latent abilities. Their minds are limited. Their bodies are fragile." Lyra gave a small smile, even though she felt scared. "Maybe I'm just stubborn." Eris looked at her and laughed nervously. "That is the most human explanation I've heard." The council did not laugh. They began another round of tests. As they scanned her again, they noticed something different. Her heartbeat was no longer normal. It did not beat in a steady rhythm. It pulsed, then paused, then pulsed again with a strange wave of energy spreading across her chest. "What is that?" asked one healer. "It looks like a second pattern," another replied. "Almost like another heartbeat made of energy, not blood." Lyra felt the pulse inside her, and she sat up suddenly. She gasped when she realized the glow around her arms was back, stronger than before. Her body felt hot for a moment, then cooled just as quickly. The council leader stepped forward. She is stabilizing, but into something else. Lyra blinked. Something else. We have no name for it yet, he answered. The more she breathed, the more her body responded. She stood up from the bed slowly, expecting her legs to feel weak. But instead, she felt balanced, almost stronger. Her senses sharpened. She heard footsteps in the hallway long before the door slid open. Eris noticed a reaction. You heard that before it opened. Lyra nodded, surprised. Yes, and I could tell it was 3 people, not 1. The council members stared at her in disbelief. The door opened, revealing 3 guards entering the room. Lyra watched them look at her with shock, as if they sensed a change too. The council leader walked to her with his hands behind his back. Your body is evolving, adapting. Something awakened inside you during the test. Humans should not survive our mental pressure, but something in your mind resisted it. Lyra lowered her eyes. I didn't want to break. And you didn't, the leader said. Instead, you changed. The council members began discussing possibilities. Energy adaptation, mutation, survival instinct pushed beyond limits, or something else entirely. Eris looked uncomfortable hearing them talk about her, like she was a puzzle. Lyra listened quietly, but inside her she felt something new stirring. She could sense faint ripples of emotion around the room. Fear, awe, uncertainty. It confused her. She had never felt anything like that before. Her breath caught. I can feel them. One healer looked up sharply. Feel what? Their emotions, Lyra whispered. Not thoughts, just feelings. Silence fell over the room. The council leader narrowed his eyes. Impossible. Lyra shook her head. I'm not reading their minds. I just know what they feel, like heat from a fire. The leader stepped closer and asked softly, And what do you feel right now from us? She looked at him, then the others. Her voice was sad but calm. Fear, a lot of it. No one spoke for a long moment. Then the council leader let out a slow breath. We must proceed carefully. Her evolution could be dangerous, or it could be the most important discovery our empire has made. Eris took a step closer to Lyra, ignoring the worried looks of the other aliens. Whatever she is becoming, she's still human. And she needs help, not fear. Lyra smiled weakly. She felt grateful and stronger. The warm, glowing pulse inside her grew steady for the first time. She did not know what she was becoming, but she knew one thing with certainty. She had survived death for a reason, and now the Empire would learn what a human could become. Her evolution had only just begun. The alarm echoed to the whole citadel, sharp and loud, shaking the quiet stone halls. Guards shouted to each other. Lights turned red along the long walls. For the first time in years, the citadel of the council felt fear, and the reason was one small human girl who had come back from death. Lyra stood in the middle of the corridor, breathing slowly. Her eyes glowed faintly, like someone had lit a small flame inside them. Her hands shook, not from fear, but from the strange new energy moving inside her body. She did not understand it, but she could feel it growing. The doors on both sides opened fast. Alien guards stepped out, holding weapons. Their faces looked confused and frightened. They had seen her dead. They had watched her stop breathing. Now she stood in front of them, alive and stronger. One guard raised his weapon. Stay where you are, human. Lyra looked at him, calm. I don't want to hurt anyone, she said softly, but her voice made the guard step back instead of forward. Something in the way she spoke sounded different, colder, sharper, almost too steady for a normal human. Suddenly, one guard fired. The energy bolt shot toward her, bright and fast. Lyra didn't think. Her body moved before her mind did. She slid to the side, faster than she should have been able to. The bolt hit the wall and burned a hole through it. The guards hesitated. Lyra did not. She ran. Her feet hit the ground with speed she didn't know she had. Every muscle felt light. Every breath felt strong. She passed guards before they even turned their heads. The corridor twisted left and right, but she had only one thought: escape. Behind her, guards shouted and chased. The red alarms flashed across her face as she ran. She could hear the heavy boots slamming on the metal floor, but they were too slow for her now. She reached a tall stairway leading to the upper halls of the Citadel. She leaped up the stairs, 3 steps at a time. Her heart beat fast, but not because she was tired. It beat because she finally felt hope. At the top of the stairs, she found a large room filled with blue crystal panels. It looked like a command center. 2 alien officers turned when she entered. One of them froze. The other reached for a button. "No, don't," Lyra said, but he pressed it. A thick metal gate slammed down behind her, cutting off the stairs. She was trapped inside the room. The officers backed away. One pointed at her with shaking hands. "You were dead," he whispered. "You were dead." Lyra didn't answer. She moved toward them slowly. She didn't want to hurt them, but she needed the door controls. She needed a way out. One officer fired at her again. The bolt hissed past her shoulder. She raised her hand in instinct. A wave of force pushed the officer backward. He hit the wall and slid to the ground, shocked but still alive. Lyra stared at her own hand. "What am I turning into?" she whispered. She didn't know. She didn't have time to think. She went to the control panel and pressed buttons, trying to open doors, trying to unlock exits. But the system needed a high-level key. She didn't have one. The room shook. The guards outside were trying to cut through the gate. She needed to move before they got in. Lyra looked to the side. A wide window showed the outside of Citadel, far above the ground. Wind howled past the glass. She knew what she had to do. She stepped back, took a long breath, closed her eyes. "Please don't fail," she whispered to herself. She ran. She hit the window with her shoulder. The glass cracked. She hit it again. A sharp pain moved down her arm. She hit it a 3rd time, and the window shattered outward. Cold air rushed in. The drop below was impossible. Too high, too deadly. But behind her, the door finally burst open and guards stormed inside. She didn't think. She jumped. The air pulled her down fast. The wind roared in her ears. She felt weightless, like she was falling through a dream. She closed her eyes, waiting for the impact. But it never came. Instead, something inside her changed again. Her fall slowed, like invisible hands held her up. She floated, drifting like a leaf in the wind. She didn't understand how, but she accepted it. She landed softly on a lower balcony. She froze in shock. "This is impossible," she whispered. Above her, guards leaned out a broken window, stunned. "She's not human," one of them said. Lyra didn't want to hear that. She didn't want to believe it. She turned and ran again, down another corridor, down another stairway, always searching for a way out. The Citadel was a maze. Every hallway looked the same. Every turn led to more guards. But she was faster. She slid past them, jumped over them. Sometimes her body glowed for a second, just enough to blind them. She didn't know how she did it. She just knew she had to survive. She reached a large chamber with tall pillars and sharp blue lights. At the end of it was a door leading outside. But when she stepped in, she felt something heavy in the air, something dark. A tall alien figure stepped out from the shadows. The High Commander. His armor was black and silver. His eyes were cold, and he was not afraid of her. "So," he said softly, "the human girl wakes from death and learns to run. But let us see if she can fight." Lyra felt her heart freeze. The chase was over. Now the real danger was standing right in front of her, and she had no idea if her new power would be enough. Lyra stood face to face with the High Commander in the center of the great chamber. The tall alien looked calm, too calm, as if he already knew the ending. His cold eyes followed her every breath. His dark armor reflected the blue lights of the room, making him look like a shadow moving in the shape of a man. "You should not be alive," he said, stepping forward slowly. Lyra felt her legs tremble, but she did not step back. "I didn't choose this," she whispered. "I only wanted to go home." "That is not possible," the commander said. "Not anymore." He raised his hand. The air shook. A wave of force hit Lyra and threw her across the room. She rolled on the floor and pushed herself up, coughing. Her chest burned. Her arms shook. She knew she could not win in a real fight, but she also knew she could not give up. The commander moved again, sending another wave toward her. This time, her body reacted on its own. A faint glow wrapped around her. The wave hit her, but it slowed, broke apart, and faded before reaching her. The commander stopped, surprised. "So the rumors are true," he said. "The human has changed." Lyra did not know what he meant. She didn't know anything anymore. She only knew she needed to survive. She focused on her hands, tried to feel that strange energy again. A soft warmth spread through her arms. Her fingers glowed, not bright, but enough to make her feel stronger. The commander attacked again. He moved fast for someone his size. He struck the floor, and a crack opened under Lyra's feet. She jumped back, barely escaping the collapse. Dust flew around her. The whole chamber shook. "You came back from death," he said. "That alone makes you dangerous." Lyra dodged another blast. Her breath was short, but her mind was clear. Every second she survived made her stronger. Something inside her was waking up, growing, learning how to protect her. She didn't know how long it would last. She pushed her hands forward. A soft wave of light came from her palms. It wasn't strong, but it hit the commander's chest and made him take one step back. His eyes narrowed, insulted. "You think you can challenge me?" He rushed at her. She rolled aside, feeling the air cut past her as his fist smashed into the ground where she had stood. She felt the floor tremble from the impact. She kept moving. She jumped over a broken pillar. She slid under a sharp stone. She pushed herself to the far side of the chamber, buying time, waiting for a moment she didn't even understand yet. The commander turned, annoyed. "Run all you want. You cannot escape the citadel. And you cannot escape me." Lyra looked around. She saw a crack in the upper wall from earlier damage. Outside it, she saw the sky. Orange, cloudy, open. A final chance. But she needed one more push. One more burst of strength. The commander threw another blast. She raised her hands and caught it. The glow around her flaring brighter. The blast shook her body. Her knees bent. Her arms trembled. Pain shot down her spine. But she held it. For the first time, she held it. Then she pushed back. The blast exploded between them. Light filled the chamber. The commander slid back 2 steps, shocked. Lyra fell to one knee, gasping but still alive. "You are becoming something else," he said quietly. "Not human, not alien. Something new." Lyra stood again, even though her legs hurt. "Maybe," she said, "but whatever I am not your prisoner." She turned and ran toward the crack in the wall. The commander shouted and came after her. His heavy steps shook the floor. She leaped onto a fallen pillar. Then she jumped again, higher, grabbing the broken edge of the crack. Her fingers dug into stone. She pulled herself up. The commander reached the base of the wall. "You cannot escape," he roared. Lyra looked back at him, breathing hard. "Watch me." She climbed to the crack and out onto a narrow ledge outside the citadel. The wind hit her face. The world below was huge. Mountains, floating platforms, lights from alien ships. She felt small, but she felt free. The commander tried to climb after her, but the stone was broken and sharp. His armor made him slow. Lyra didn't wait. She jumped again, not straight down, but toward a lower level of the citadel, a metal platform far below. The wind pulled her fast. She felt fear in her stomach. But then, like before, her fall slowed. The invisible force wrapped around her again and guided her. She landed hard, but safe enough to keep moving. Alarms still rang across the citadel. Guards ran everywhere. But when they saw her, they stopped. Some stared. Some stepped back in fear. News of her had already spread. The girl who died. The girl who stood again. The girl who glowed. She kept running. She passed through a broken door. She ducked under a burning pipe. She pushed through a narrow hall until she saw it. The docking bay. Ships. Many ships. And one small transport, open and ready. A pilot inside froze when he saw her. How are you? I need this ship, she said. I need to leave now. The pilot hesitated. Then he saw the glow in her eyes. He stepped aside quickly. She entered the ship. Her hands moved across the controls, guessing the right buttons. The door closed behind her. The engines hummed. Outside, the commander finally reached the bay entrance. He saw the ship powering up. He shouted, "Stop! Human!" Lyra did not stop. The ship lifted. The engines roared. Light filled the bay. Then she flew out into the open sky. The citadel shrank behind her. The alarms faded. The commander stood at the edge, watching, knowing nothing would ever be the same, because the girl who returned from death was now free, and the whole galaxy would soon learn her name.